Sometimes there's not always pretty wins. You might put that in that category, but we're still excited after the game to be able to beat a good football team that was well prepared, well coached. We knew they were going to be coming in here. And they had some confidence on the defensive side. They got some stops early. They prevented us from getting in the end zone. I think that gave them more confidence. They just kind of continued to build on that. It was kind of the opposite of what you saw when we played them out in Normal earlier in the year. So I'm giving a ton of credit to Coach Spack and his staff. Excited about how we played defensively. We did a nice job. We had heard and talked about James Robinson all week prior. And to be able to hold him to 94 yards was a good day. And keep him out of the end zone, of course. Anytime you do that, you have a chance to win football games. So there's definitely things we got to continue to work on. We were inside the 10-yard line twice early in the game and came away with 6 points rather than 14. And, that's a frustrating point. And then just third down conversions. We were in way too many third and longs throughout the course of the game. And, a lot of situations that there wasn't even any real fourth and shorts that you felt comfortable about going for. It felt like it was always 4th and 7, 4th and 9, something of that. So we got to continue to do a good job of coaching our kids up. We'll have a great practice. I know that. I've already seen guys in the locker room. They're excited. They're ready to go. And I know our staff's preparing right now to have a great Monday practice, and I look forward to it. In regards to Montana State, they're hot right now. They won 6 games in a row. They've settled in on a quarterback. They do a number of different things offensively, some unusual, unbalanced X-off. They get into Wildcat. They're going to really challenge you as far as adjustments in-game and as we put together a game plan. So I know Coach Braun and the staff are hard at work at that. And then offensively, it still comes down, we need to execute better. And regardless of what Illinois State showed us last week, regardless of what we're going to see this week, if you can't execute, it's hard even to make adjustments in the game. And so, that's where we're at. We just got to do a better job. We got to be better prepared. I know our guys are chomping at the bit. I've seen a number of them around the facility already today, and they understand what's available, what the opportunities lie ahead if you're able to get a win in the semifinals. So with that, I will open it up to questions.
Do you believe it's a trend now offensively where it's been 3 games where just hasn't flowed as well as the first, say, 11 games where things have not come as well on offense?
I don't know if I would chalk it up to a trend. Maybe we just played a couple better defenses, later in the year than what we've seen. So, we're still winning football games, and that's ultimately the number one thing that our program's concerned about. I think what is frustrating, maybe the trend is we haven't been as successful in the red zone as we have. I mean, you look at Saturday, we're in the red zone 3 times and came away with 9 points. We wouldn't be having conversation if we were able to score some touchdowns. And I know, you can't predicate anything on ifs. We just didn't get it done.
You just talk about execution. What's maybe changed in the red zone, whereas earlier in the year you were more successful, or is it a concern that the execution isn't as good now as it was maybe earlier in the year?
I'm not sure. Those are things we got to go back and continue to take a look at. I still think we're trying to spread the ball around. I don't think we're becoming heavy with the run or targeting a certain receiver down there. I just don't think we're playing at our best. And is it a lack of focus? Is it just not being prepared? Do we need to have more red zone in practice? I think those are all things that we're going to try to look at going into this week.
Touch on Trey's response to all of it and how he continues to carry himself through this.
Sounds like a Bison when I listened to the press conference with the players the other day.
See the press conference.
Yeah, just wait. He's responded to this. I think he's ready to play. First thing he told me is, "Coach, I'll be better." And so I don't know why I wouldn't trust him. He's done everything we've asked for him to do this year, and then some. He continues to learn. We may have put too much on. It wouldn't matter if it was Trey or Easton or any quarterback's plate last week. We were trying to get out of plays at the line of scrimmage, get into the perfect play. And as we all know, there is no such thing as the perfect play. And so we may, as a coaching staff, and myself included, maybe slow down their thinking at the line of scrimmage so they weren't playing as fast or as free as they could have been.
So that strength, that confidence, his ability to just want to get back out there and move on, just continue to solidify. I I mean, he obviously shows on the field why he's the guy, but those intangibles, those personality traits, the character, that he's absolutely the guy to be leading this team.
Well, I think he's extremely humble, always wanting to get better, always willing to get better. Is all about the team and making sure that he's doing everything he can to put the other 10 players on the football field in the right position. And I think we'll have a good week of practice. I anticipate us being ready and being really excited to go.
Sale, I'm hearing the word prepared a lot. Could you guys have coached a better game on offense Saturday?
I don't know if we could have coached a better game. I mean, at the same time, I think we had a good plan going into it. Now, was it too much? Maybe it was in hindsight, but that's why you watch film on Sundays and get a chance to evaluate yourself. There were some things I think during the course of the game we would have liked to have done, but we were able to continue to get the win, and that was what was important.
You mentioned third and longs as something you want to be better at. How do you be more successful on the earlier downs?
Well, I think it just comes down to efficiency and getting in and out of the right plays. We gave up too many TFLs during the course of the game on Saturday. We were in a bunch of second and longs, a bunch of third and longs, and that's just atypical for what we've done throughout the course of the year. And so we just got to clean it up.
Their physical ball game with Coach Choate, the first time you saw him last year in the playoffs, now seeing an Illinois State team last week. Do you expect that same type of physicality here in the semifinals?
I would anticipate there'd be a lot of similarities due to the fact that the D coordinator from Illinois State was at Montana State last year. So I'm sure there's a lot of idea sharing going on right now.
You look at this team with Montana State, how much has changed from when you played them last year in the playoffs?
I still think they're exceptional, the team, as far as taking advantage of all the skill kids they have, utilizing some different bodies back in the backfield. They got some receivers that'll go up and get it, and I think they've continued to solidify up front on the offensive line. Defensively, I think they're sound. They're really good up front. They're going to play a whole bunch of cover three. They're going to drop it, insert the safety into the box. They're going to play three cloud. They're going to try to find every different way to play some single high defense, and so we got to do a great job of identifying it, and I wouldn't be surprised if we saw some similar, four to a side pressures that we saw a week ago.
I imagine Troy Anderson on the field because he was quarterbacking last year. Now he may play linebacker where he's been an all-conference player.
Well, he hasn't played for 2-3 weeks, so all I'm going to worry about is who I've seen on film, and we'll continue to create a game plan to win the football game with what we know.
And that though, playing quarterback at a high level like you saw last year, and then going and being their quarterback of their defense, though?
Well, that says a lot about who he is and just what a good football player. I mean, we were extremely impressed with him a year ago. The physicality that he had, and especially playing the quarterback position, big, long kid that can run really well. You hope he's not a serious injury that's going to keep him out, into the 2020 season. But, probably part of it, the way he plays. I mean, he's just reckless and a violent football player.
They're a 4-3. Last week you saw 3-4. Could they do some of the same things?
They're more of a 3-4 than I don't know if you're going off of maybe just just the depth chart. They're buck linebackers, a stand up hybrid into the boundary. He'll do some dropping. They got the center covered more than they don't.
And for their offense, they're averaging 34 a game. How do you slow them down?
Well, we're going to have to do a great job of getting them off schedule early in series. Got to tackle well. We got to make some good adjustments because, as I said before, they're going to throw a whole bunch at you and try to get you stuck, maybe playing base defense. And so we're going to have to find some ways to continue to bring pressure when they're not anticipating it. And hopefully we can, like I said, be really good on third down.
And some health things. Hunter Luke didn't play last week. I know Kobe might have got one carry. Are those guys? What do you anticipate?
We should be good to go.
Okay.
I think we're anticipate using him more now that we've seen that he's okay. Hunter Luke's day by day, but I would hope that we would have him back this week.
I guess if Kobe is more in an expanded role, what does he bring to the offense when he's at 100% or at his
He's got
best?
breakaway speed. He's got great vision. I think anyone who has 800 yards for you this year brings quite a bit. He can catch the ball out of the backfield, and I think the other area where he can help us immensely is on kickoff return.
Matt, what happened with Voyan last week? He looked like he was in some pain, and then a couple minutes later he's running around the sideline. Okay.
Couldn't breathe. Just trying every way to get some air into the body.
We've seen like a Sully Lesh for Nichols, and there's I think Streak is a guy that's playing really big. So when you're seeing guys that are the caliber of Sully Lesh, how does that prep you now once you get to this round?
I think every team has a really good player or a couple players that stand out. This last week, you look at number 99, Ridgeway. I mean, he influences the game big time. Just one, because he's a massive individual, but we're going to have to make sure we're accounted. But we got to beat the Bobcats. We can't just focus on one guy.
Make you smile a little bit, the defensive guys you are, that all the 4 games were defensive grinders around the FCS this past weekend?
It's good to see. I enjoy seeing. I did get a chance to watch just maybe a couple series of the JMU UNI game, and it was good to see. I know Coach Johnson, the defensive coordinator there, real well. We worked together, and so was excited to see how well they played defensively. I think it says a lot about, as the season progresses, scoring a bunch of points is great, but at some point you do have to be able to stop some people.
Very run-heavy team. What can you take from being successful last week against Robinson into this week?
Well, a little different plan that we're going to have. We're not going to see a lot of 22, 12 personnel, 21. We'll see some of it, more gun run game. So I don't know if there'll be any carryover as far as game plan. We're going to have a game plan that stops the Bobcats. But I think some of the things we emphasized during the week, like tackling and keeping the cup, we had a couple breakdowns in the game. But for the most part, our defensive kids did really well.
What's your thoughts on their quarterback in number 12?
I think he's really good. It's been interesting to see how they've kind of evolved through the year to get to him. Early in the season, you saw Anderson still playing quarterback and kind of in and out. I think he's done a nice job. He can run the football a little bit. They utilize him in the gun, so you have some +1 run game that you have to defend. They'll get under center, and then of course, all of a sudden there's trade shift in motion. He lines up at receiver, and they're in the Wildcat. So he does a nice job of one, getting them in and out of their offensive plays and getting them aligned. I'm sure he's kind of the captain of all that movement, and he does a good job.
Just with kind of younger guys in key positions, how important are guys like James Hendricks, Derek Tuska, Ty Brooks, and even Ben Ellefson, just guys who've been through it, seniors, and know what it's like at the semifinal level?
Well, I think it's extremely where the importance comes during the week of practice. Our young guys still there's a lot of distractions this week, or a few more than normal. We have finals going on right now. We have graduation on Friday. I think when our younger kids see James Hendricks, Derek Tuska, some of our older guys just keep going about the process and going about our work the way we would normally handle it, I think it probably a little bit calming to them to know that hey, I just got to show up and take care of practice when I'm at the football facility.
I think this is the first time you had signing day happening with a semifinal game. So how is the balance going to get ready for Wednesday and Saturday as well?
Well, it is a little bit unique. We've had probably a total of about 25 official visits over the course of the last 2 weekends, along with playing some football games. As of this week, on Wednesday, signing date, really the staff will have nothing to do with it. I've charged them with making sure we take care of our current team. And that's trying to put ourselves in the best situation we can. Myself, Josh Cattell, will be manning the email and the phones to receive all the paperwork for signing date. But our assistants do an unbelievable job, and it's not that I don't want them to be part of it, but we owe it to our 14 seniors to make sure that we're ready to go, and to take that big a block of time away from them. I'd really be nervous if I was the D coordinator or offensive coordinator and not having my full amount of time to prepare for practice.
Anybody going through graduation?
Excuse me?
Anybody going through graduation?
12. Yep.
The early signing period. You feel like you got a grasp on it yet, or is it still feeling it out right
I
now?
think we're getting closer to where we want to be. I think we're still evolving with it. We're not necessarily always done at early signing day, just like we weren't last year. We were able to find some really marquee players out there that fortunately have come in and helped us this year. So I would anticipate us doing the same thing. It has sped the process up. We'll do more 2021 recruiting probably after the holidays than we have in the past, and that's becoming a bigger and bigger trend.
Anything new on Phoenix Sproles? I think you said after the game you still anticipated being good to go this week. Has that changed, or do you still feel he's up
right
there?
now, I haven't talked to our medical staff about him. I know when I get back over to the Dome, I'll probably get a conversation with Bobby. But keeping my fingers crossed that we'll get good news and that he will be able to play on Saturday. All right, thanks, guys.